In the dead of night, two airliners on a collision course received opposite commands, one from a machine, the other from a man, sealing the fate of 71 people in a fiery explosion. On the night of July 1, 2002, Bashkirian Airlines Flight 2937, a Tupolev 2154 was flying from Moscow, Russia, to Barcelona, Spain. On board were 60 passengers, mostly schoolchildren from the city of Ufa, who were on their way to a holiday in Spain as a reward for their academic achievements. They were accompanied by 9 crew members. At the same time, DHL Flight 611, a Boeing 757 cargo jet, was flying from Bergamo, Italy, to Brussels, Belgium, with 2 pilots, Captain Paul Phillips and First Officer Brandt Campioni at the controls. The 2 aircraft were converging at the same altitude of 36,000 feet in the airspace over southern Germany, near the town of Überlingen. This airspace was under the control of SkyGuide, the Swiss air traffic control service based in Zurich. That night, only one air traffic controller, Peter Nielsen, was managing the busy sector, while his colleague was on a break. Furthermore, maintenance work was being carried out on the main radar system, forcing Nielsen to use a backup system that did not display aircraft flight paths as clearly. The telephone lines were also down, preventing him from coordinating with the adjacent control center in Karlsruhe, Germany, which could see the impending disaster but could not warn him. As the 2 planes drew closer, their onboard traffic collision avoidance systems, or TCAS, detected the imminent threat. The TCA is designed to prevent mid-air collisions by issuing coordinated instructions to pilots. The TCAs on the DHL cargo jet instructed its pilots to descend, while the TCAs on the Bashkirian Airlines passenger jet instructed its pilots to climb. This automated maneuver should have separated the 2 aircraft safely. However, just seconds after the TCA's alerts, controller Peter Nielsen, who had finally noticed the conflict on his screen, also issued an instruction. He told the Bashkirian Airlines Flight to descend for traffic avoidance, directly contradicting the TCA's climb command. The Russian pilots, faced with conflicting orders from the automated system and the human controller, were in a moment of critical confusion. In the aviation culture of the time, instructions from air traffic control were often given priority. The Bashkirian crew chose to follow Nielsen's command and began to descend, overriding their TCAs. This decision was fatal. The DHL pilots were already following their TCA's instruction to descend. Both aircraft were now diving towards the same point in the sky. In the final terrifying seconds, the pilots saw each other. Despite desperate last-moment attempts to evade, it was too late. At 11:35 p.m., the 2 jets collided nearly at a right angle. The vertical stabilizer of the Boeing sliced through the fuselage of the Tupolev. The passenger jet broke apart in midair and exploded, scattering debris over a wide area. The crippled cargo jet, having lost its tail, spiraled out of control and crashed a few miles away. All 71 people on both aircraft were killed. The investigation that followed revealed a catastrophic chain of systemic failures. The Swiss Air Traffic Control Service was criticized for having only 1 controller on duty, for the ongoing maintenance that degraded their systems, and for inadequate procedures. The Russian pilots were noted for their fatal decision to follow the controller's instruction over the TCA's command, a point that highlighted confusion and inconsistencies. In international pilot training regarding TCA's protocols at the time, the tragedy did not end that night. 2 years later, Vitaly Kloyev, a Russian architect who had lost his wife and 2 children in the crash, traveled to Switzerland. Consumed by grief and anger, he found Peter Nielsen at his home and murdered him, blaming the controller for the death of his family. The Überlingen mid-air collision is a profound and devastating story of how human error, systemic flaws, and a moment of confusion can override sophisticated safety technology. It led to sweeping changes in air traffic control procedures and international standards for TCA's protocols, mandating that TCA's advisories must always be followed, even if they conflict with a controller's instructions. The crash serves as a tragic lesson on the complex interplay between human and machine in the sky, and a heartbreaking reminder of the 71 lives lost in a collision that should never have happened.